Hello Chapel City, welcome to another weekend update video. This week we have a little bit of a different scene for you. I'm missing my typical friend, the Fern, that has spent countless weeks by my side. Instead, this week we're going to give you a little bit of an idea of what it looks like to come to church, just so you can see visually some of the changes that are made, so maybe it's not quite so shocking on the Sunday morning when you come. I'm standing here right in front of our church building under the portico with Ventura Boulevard in front of me. Now, most of you park in one of two spots, either in our parking lot that's immediately off of our Ed building, and that would be over that way, or across the street or down the street somewhere by the music store to my right. Whatever way you park or whatever area you park in, this is going to be your entrance. We're limiting traffic to kind of a one-way flow through. So when you show up, if you park in our parking lot over by the Ed building, go ahead and travel through the courtyard, out the gate, and back in through this way. And of course, if you park on the street or by the music building over there, you can come through this way. But all entry is going to be done through our main front doors. And as you come, you're going to notice that there's 6-foot boundaries marked off on the sidewalk in blue tape. It's not very fancy, but it's very effective, and we should all be fairly used to seeing these kind of distance markers by now. So we would just ask that you keep your family unit, whatever group you came with, together at roughly those distances, and we'll have things marked so you can see. And as you do come up to our doors, you'll notice a few things. Behind me, there are 2 tables on either side. This is to make sure that people are not only funneled in one direction, but so that you can get the information and supplies that you need. On those tables will be seating charts to show you where you're going to sit, as well as ushers to help you get there. There's going to be hand sanitizer, there's going to be masks available for you. If you have your own, you're welcome to bring it. If you forget yours or if you need us to provide one, we absolutely have those available and made for your use on any given Sunday. Also, when you come up, you're going to notice A-frames very much like the one next to me here. And we're going to zoom in on that so you can kind of see the content. You're probably also very familiar with these by this point, but they're going to ask you to do some very basic self-check questions. Things like, have you had any of the following symptoms recently? Coughing, sore throats, fevers, muscle pains, chills, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, loss of taste or smell. If you have any of those, we would just ask that you'd stay home for everybody's safety and very much for your comfort as well. And then as we welcome you back, we want to make sure that you're aware of the county guidelines that we're still trying to abide by. Stay home if you're sick. Maintain those distances. We don't have our children's programs functioning yet, but they are more than welcome and encouraged to join their families during the service. Instead of handshakes and hugs, although we know we want to, we're encouraging distance greetings, waving, salutes, whatever seems to fit with you, but maintaining that distance. Washing hands and using hand sanitizer, which we will have at a variety of locations here on our facility, and then wearing masks and gloves as needed. And once again, when we sing together, masks will be required during that portion of our service. So those are some of the introductory things to get you going. From there, we're going to move you inside and give you a look at what our pews look like and what the seating looks like for our Sunday service. Once you get inside the doors, you'll notice a couple of things that are different than normal. First of all, you'll see a sign that says, please wait to be seated. We are used to going in and finding whatever seat we want. And I know that for most of you, that is the same seat week after week. Well, we've done you a very great favor. We've taken all the guesswork out of it. We've taken away the fear that perhaps someone has sat in your seat and they didn't know it. And we've assigned seats for this time. Mostly what that helps us do is to optimize and maximize the number of people that we can get in with the space requirements and restrictions that we're living under. So don't be offended if you find that you're on the opposite side of the sanctuary. Instead, be grateful that because of your sacrifice, more people were able to attend on that Sunday. And to help facilitate that, our ushers are going to take you to your seat. Normally, there would be greeters here to hand you bulletins and to encourage you to shake hands and greet people. We'll have ushers in masks ready to take you to your assigned seat, and so you'll just proceed with them through the doors and they'll show you where to go. Well, now that we're inside the building, you can see that I have donned my mask as I am now playing the role of an usher. We'll have people coming in and the usher will bring you to your seat. In this case, our lovely model couple, the Martins, are going to come in and their seat, their pew, would be clearly marked with their name. And already there on that pew waiting for them will be their bulletins and their communion elements for this week. So you won't have to touch anything that anyone else has handled, that everything will be preset and prepared for you. And as you look at the pews, you might notice that they look a little bit different, maybe a little bit glossier. They have plastic over all of the back of them to make cleaning very, very easy. In fact, in between services, the pew pads are all replaced with ones that aren't being used, and the plastic is flipped around, so you actually don't wind up touching any surfaces that were touched the service before. So now I want to talk a little bit about what distancing is going to look like in our services. We're all very much aware and familiar with the idea of 6-foot spacing between family groups. In fact, if you look on the sides of the pews as you come in, you'll see this pew is closed. So we're using about 1 out of every 3 pews. Well, that means that on our side pews, really we're limited to 1 family unit, whether that's a single person, a couple, or maybe a couple with a small child if everybody fits inside that pew tightly. But when it comes to our middle section, things are still needing that same distance. So it's either 1 family, or if we're going to fit 2 family units there, realistically it's a couple and then a single individual. And as we space it out, it's roughly 2 feet per person. This is the maximum that we can fit in a middle pew if we have 2 different family groupings there. So once you're seated, you'll notice that service progresses very much like normal. There will be singing and praying, studying God's Word together, and the only real difference is that's going to be kind of on an abbreviated timeline, 1 or 2 fewer songs and a shorter sermon, to which I can hear some of you rejoicing even through the television. So try to maintain and hold back your enthusiasm, at least when you're in person with me. But once service is over, we have to talk about what it looks like then to leave. We'll be dismissing people by areas and by rows, because once again, we're only coming in through one door and out through another. And in our case, that exit is going to be through the doors of the overflow room, the room we're in now. So during this time, if we were to dismiss the overflow room, the Martins here, as our lovely example couple, would get up and they would proceed out the back doors of the overflow room here. And once they go through the hall, they'll exit out those double glass doors and take an immediate right down the hallway. So the overflow room will exit first, followed by the pews and the main sanctuary from front to back. And what we really need your help with during this time is not just exiting quickly, but making sure that as you exit, you don't stop and kind of congregate in any of our pinch points, places like the doors or the hallways. In fact, really what we're going to ask is that you keep moving until you're all the way out in the courtroom and there's plenty of room for people to move on through the process. So once again, once we leave the sanctuary or the overflow area, you're going to head out down this hallway between the Ed building and between our fellowship hall. And we're going to ask that you keep moving until you come all the way out into the courtyard. In fact, we'll have the signs out here that you'll notice that direct you toward the front door when you come in. If you move past that point after service, it'll help us to make sure that we don't congregate really heavily in any one area. Once again, that's a lot of changes. It's a lot of things that seem small, but when you put them all together, that might lead up to a feeling that's very, very different on a Sunday. I want to encourage you with this. One of the most major points of feedback that we got from our first Sunday back together was that it was indeed strange, but that the blessing of being together with people made the strange very much worth it. As you look through this, we hope that it helps you prepare maybe at least a little bit emotionally for the changes that are going to take place. But know that we're excited to have you here. Know that if you can't be with us, we're praying for you. We're waiting and praying for you at that time when that will be the right decision for you. And if there's anything that we can do to help make you feel more comfortable, any questions that we can answer, anything that we can talk you through with regard to our process, we'd love to work through that with you. Give us a call, send us an email, shoot me a text. We look forward to worshiping with you again soon.